So the Quran itself is a remedy. And if you have a distant relationship with the Quran, I don't know, then maybe some pills. I would like to describe or divide, generally speaking, the emotion of sadness into three categories. There's sadness that you brought upon yourself as a result of something you've done. It's your fault, and you know that. That's sadness you brought upon yourself. Then there's sadness brought upon you by others. Something they said, something they did, something somehow they had an effect on you, and that brought sadness upon you. And the third circumstance of sadness is a sadness that's a result of a circumstance. You can't even blame a person. It could be something like a car accident. It could be like an earthquake. It could be anything. It could be a sickness. It could be whatever. And these kinds of, so there are these three circumstances. In the first circumstance, what was it again? What was the first circumstance? Something you've done yourself, and you're depressed about something you did. A lot of people have that. My recommendation is for you to carefully study the dua made by Musa alayhi salam. And you'll notice, as I talk, you'll notice that I keep trying to illustrate to you, the subject of my talk was the Qur'an's remedy for sadness. There's not one, there are thousands of remedies in the Qur'an for sadness, but I keep alluding to the fact that every time I get close to talking about a solution, what comes up? Dua. Every time I start talking about a solution, what comes up again? Dua comes up. Adam alayhi salam was sad. What did Allah give him? Allah gave him a dua. You have Ilyas alayhi salam, really in a state of depression, sadness, and he says, I will only complain to Allah Azza wa Jalla. Right? So you have these prophetic situations, and they all turn into du'as. Now this dua is which prophet? When you made a mistake yourself? Musa alayhi salam. I'm sure you've done some pretty bad things, but I'm pretty sure you didn't punch a guy and he died. Don't raise your hand, please. There's police here. Just relax, okay? They're not here. You do not have to check. When you've done something wrong, you are one of the victims. You're not just the criminal. Allah makes you suffer internally for that. You pay the price. But even if it was an honest mistake, in the case of Musa alayhi salam, that guilt of taking another life. It's not something easy to swallow. It doesn't leave you alone. But Allah inspired him with this beautiful dua. رَبِّ إِنِّي لِمَا أَنزَلْتَ إِلَيَّ مِنْ خَيْرٍ فَقِيرٍ. That is actually the key to moving on with life. If you've made a mistake and you don't know how to move on with life, learn from the dua of Musa alayhi salam. Master, no doubt about it, me, whatever good you send my way, I am desperately in need. My back is broken. I am not capable. Whatever good you send my way, I can use it. Let me explain what we mean by good here. Good means two things. Ya Allah, give me good opportunities in life. Ya Allah, don't let the mistake I made make the rest of my life a bad experience. Don't give me sadness after sadness after sadness. Give me positive experiences and good opportunities in life. By the way, right after that dua, Musa alayhi salam got a job in the next ayah. Right, he made that dua. Next ayah, he got hired. And married. One ayah. It's pretty awesome. And that next ayah starts with a fa, which means therefore. Therefore, the girl came, called him to the dad, he told the story, she said, I'd like to, let's hire him, and, the whole thing worked out. But all as a result of his dua. What we're learning, that because that little fa in the ayah in Surah Al-Qasas, is that du'as can have a serious impact on the rest of your life. Where am I going to find a job? I'm homeless, I'm a fugitive from the law, I ran away from Egypt, I don't even know my way around here, I'm just sitting by a puddle of water. I don't even, my shoes are torn up, my clothes are beat up, I'm sitting under a tree, I don't even know if this tree belongs to someone that kicks me out of here. Next thing, Ya Allah, send some good my way, boom, got a job, married a girl, moved in, 8-year visa, set. Everything. The other meaning of khair that's more relevant to our conversation here, if you have made a mistake in your past, if you've made a major mistake in your past, then the only way to move on is to become desperate to do good deeds. He's asking Allah, Master, whatever opportunity you give me to do good, I will jump on it. I am bankrupt. Like someone bankrupt jumping towards a coin, I will jump towards a good deed. Helping someone, doing something good. Master, just give me the chance, I will do it. I have hurt another human being, I will spend the rest of my life helping human beings. This dua he made right after he helped a couple of girls get some food or some water for their animals. Then he sat down and said, Ya Allah, any other voluntary deed, hook me up. If you need me to volunteer for anything else, I'm available. Because I know what I've done in my past, and I know the only way I will know that you have blessed me in my life is if you give me opportunity to do Good deeds. If you've done messed up things in the past, the way you compensate for that is you go out of your way to do what? Good things. And the lesson in Surah Al-Qasas is, the number one kind of good thing is not make more salah or make more dua. That's standard anyway. You have to do that anyway. Help people. Do good things for people. Mend relations. Visit the sick. Take care of your parents. Visit your grandparents. Talk to the cousin that you hate. Send them a gift. That stuff. In our worldview, in the Islamic worldview of dealing with, what they call is mental illness, right? That's what they call it nowadays. But we don't call it an illness. Everything Allah created on this earth. Everything Allah created on this earth. Allah gave it a quality, especially human beings. He says in Surah Al-Rahman, كُلُّ مَنْ عَلَيْهَا فَانٍ. Everyone upon this earth, every human being that is, man refers to the living and includes the jinn also. He uses the word fana, fan. Fan is something that is meant to die. Fan is something that's got a timer on it. The clock is ticking on every one of us. So in a building, just like in a building, there's deterioration happening. But when deterioration happens, you blame the architect. You say, hey, this architect didn't do a good job. Look, the paint's chipping and the bricks are falling apart, etc. Or the plumbing's no good anymore. But actually, when the human being starts having issues, that's not because the architect missed something, but by design it was supposed to actually go through certain challenges. But those challenges, we should not call them flaws. They're actually tests that Allah put inside of us. Emotional ones, physical ones. Those are tests that all of us have to go through. And like one of the most beautiful expressions I found in Arabic about psychology, they say, رُبَّ قَوْلٍ أَشَدُّ مِنْ صَوْلٍ. They say perhaps words can hurt more than a beating does. They understood that words can actually have an impact on, not physically, you're not injured, you're not bleeding when somebody says mean things to you, but they can tear you down. They can make you not want to get up in the morning. Words can be enough to make somebody suicidal. It happens. Especially dealing with the subject of sadness and depression. The first word used in the Quran for sadness is al-gham. There are several words used, and the first in the Quran we find is al-gham. Ghayn, mim, mim are the root origins. The same word is used, a variation of that word is ghamam, which actually means clouds in the sky. And if clouds remain and no sunlight is able to break through, that kind of a cloud is called ghamam. Sometimes you have clouds that light comes through. Sometimes you have clouds that light is completely blocked, right? And if that remains for a long time, it can get pretty depressing. Right? If the weather remains cloudy for an extensively long amount of time and you don't see sunlight, then it gets pretty depressing, which explains the psychological state of most of the people in the United Kingdom, because it's cloudy most of the time, right? But, so situations did Allah describe gham with? And the study of that, how will that help me deal with someone who keeps thinking the future is bleak, who never sees the bright side of things, who's always looking at the glass as half empty, someone who's pessimistic all the time, negative.